Welcome to the Knowledgebase Ninjas Podcast, where 𝐊𝐤𝐚𝐤𝐞𝐚𝐰 of Document 360 finds the best SaaS self-service knowledge bases in the world and then interviews their creators. Let's get started with today's episode.
Good day, everyone. Our guest today is Dr. Anu Singh, Technical Communicator and Speaker at Fiserv. Welcome, Anu, to the Knowledgebase Ninjas Podcast. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, and thank you so much for having me here today, Gauri.
Fantastic. The pleasure is ours, Anu. So, Anu, please help us understand a little bit more about yourself and how did you initially got into documentation, please?
Certainly. I'd say I always loved writing, and my love for writing was not limited to technical writing when I started it, like during my childhood time. And then I graduated with English as my major subject and pursued my doctorate in philosophy in the areas of American literature and Indian writing in English. And I continued to write, and then I discovered this field. I started with content writing, and I was writing for technology, including VoIP and iPhone. So that got me like curious, and with my flair for technology, I changed the entire focus and started with technical writing with my first organization. And if I'm reflecting now, it's been like more than a decade since then.
Super. Wow. That's quite a lot to talk then. So let's talk a little bit about the process. So what's your documentation process at Fiserv, and which teams do you normally get involved in such processes?
From process perspective, we are now following Agile, and then we have, we are actually customizing Agile more. We started with Scrum, and now we are moving to Hickory, which is like very process light. And it is the concept that we have behind Agile, the iterative nature of software development, where all the dev and QA and other disciplines, they come together. And that is where technical writing team also pitches in. We have a dedicated department that we call content development, that includes not just technical writer but instructional designers as well. And we collaborate a lot with all the the development, the product development team, and participate in all the Agile ceremonies, Scrum ceremonies, and we are trying to feel the basic how do I want to say it, the characteristics that make a team, all the characteristics that make a team agile. That is what we are trying to bring in from a doc perspective. And we are well aligned with the agile processes, and we are participating right from, planning through the retrospective.
Wow, that sounds very elaborated, Anu. So how do you manage your documentation workflow?
That is an interesting question, Gary. And the reason I say, interesting, because we are actually in a transition phase. We are moving away from traditional way of documentation to, to a more client-focused, more user-focused documentation approach. And we are also bringing in technology. We were using we are still using standalone help authoring tools, and we were kind of working in silos. Now the entire group, the technical communicators, the fraternity, they have come together, and we are now moving towards a content management system and logistically becoming one big team, collaborating with each other, and bringing in that user perspective, right from the way we are documenting using, the styles and standards, and we follow MSTP. And we have now also started bringing in the accessibility aspects and working on getting that. So currently it is like we call it, we are in the messy middle. We are in the crawl, walk and run stage.
Yeah.
So everything is very fluid. So it would be like inaccurate to say that we now have a process. We are certainly building a process which is like very fluid and very flexible.
Fantastic. So working as part of a creative team, how do you think would improve the documentation?
Documentation, the technical documentation precisely is more of a user's voice. You have to be creative. You have to think from a user's perspective. A technical person, if we are building, say, if we are creating a document for system administrator, that person is going to care about all the tasks, all the specific instructions that they would need to accomplish a task. But if we are writing, for executives, like who are going to take a decision whether they would want to upgrade or whether they would want to purchase a new application, a new software, they're not going to look into, what would be the IE version needed or what would be the RAM size needed. How intuitive is the product or what value it's going to bring to their customer. So there we need to be, creative, and that is what this collaboration is helping us to do.
Okay, super. I know you mentioned that you're in a messy middle. So what are the important factors you consider when creating documentation, Anu?
First and foremost, how our clients or our users would use this. Are they going to, use our documentation when they want to troubleshoot, or when they are deploying a new software or upgrading to a new software, a new version of a software? So that is the first thing, getting into or becoming readers or audience advocate. That is the first thing we do. And then what information would matter to them? What would be the priority? And we often, end up thinking from our perspective that this is essential, or this information is what's going to help our user, when the user does not need those instructions at all. It is about providing them, specific set what they need to accomplish a task. Have this, build this confidence that they are successful, they accomplished a task, and instill that self-esteem and instill that strong feeling that the organization like Fiserv cares for them, Fiserv supports them and help them be successful. And at the same time, because we are in the banking and financial domain, so our end users, our end customers are customers, the clients of our financial institution. So bringing in that perspective, how we are making our financial institution successful by providing them instructions or, more intuitive product. That is how what we do, and that is where we align our approach and bring in, what would user need to do first, or what's new, and they would be interested. So those are some of the things that we are doing, and certainly bringing, making, or rather knitting that safety net or circle of safety, so that they do not have any fear that if they are going to do something will break. So that kind of thing. And at the same time, Gauri, we are also adopting new technology to cater to, this new generation who are technology pro. And we are experimenting with chatbots. We are experimenting with podcasts. And also, building more job aids, more micro content and micro learning for users to do everything and get the information they're looking for quickly.
Fantastic. So it looks like a lot of things happening, and it's a busy team, I guess.
Yes. Yes.
Fantastic. So, have you seen any kind of reduction in workload since introducing quality documentation? Or I know you're slowly moving into that area, but have you started noticing any considerable reduction in your workload?
I would say we are not yet there where we have automated a majority of the things. And if you're going to ask me this question a year down the line, I am very sure that I'm going to say yes, Corey. We are. But at this time, because there's a lot of migration, a lot of information reuse and restructuring that's happening. So that is that the reduction is not that significant, but we are making good progress, and I'm very confident that I'm certainly going to come back and tell you that, hey, we have this XX% reduction in terms of the quantity of time we were putting in.
Fantastic. Yeah, that's the ultimate goal, right? So somewhere the documentation gets noticed and helping the team and the overall company's growth.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and I would want to add here, Gauri, that we have a client advisory board where we invite our clients and we do hear from them that they need documentation and they refer to documentation, to accomplish something or to complete a task or to help their customers. So.
Okay, super. So how does your reporting structure look, Anu? So how do you report on your documentation, and who do you report to on successful completion of certain modules, etc.?
In this case, in our case, we are empowered, and the ownership accountability lies with each individual. So talking from the, org structure, we have our department head, who is the vice president, and he has his direct reports at the director level. And, we have dedicated team of trainers and facilitators and content developers. And then there is the hierarchy of managers who are managing respective, unique portfolios of product. And those product portfolios are aligned with the product development team. Mm-hmm. And since we work with Scrum teams, and we also have a quality team. So the sign off happens, at the, because it is all about individual contributors' role, all the writers who are aligned or who are working closely with the product develop the Scrum teams. So finally, they collaborate and work. But during the process, there's a sign off that's needed from stakeholders, including docs. So if it is a release for, say, X product, and we need sign off from development, we need sign off from QA, we need sign off from, few other disciplines like performance and security, and then the sign off from documentation. So for my portfolio, it's me. For other product portfolio, where we are catering to core clients, so we have other managers taking care of that.
Okay, super, fantastic. One thing if I did not ask previously is,
Mm-hmm.
are your documentation publicly available, or is it protected behind a username and a password?
It is protected, right? It is available to all the licensed clients and, or those who purchase our license. And uh, we are moving towards a dedicated doc server, but currently we are using ServiceNow.
All right. Okay. Okay, great. So I think I'm not sure if this will be a relevant question. Do you know if you're generating any organic search traffic from your knowledge base?
Uh, we have it's in the POC phase.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the vision, to use it to use analytics and for documentation as well. So currently it is limited. It is right at the POC, proof of concept. So we know that we are going to implement it.
Okay, fantastic, fantastic. So I think we are good to move to the rapid fire round. Anu, would you like to add anything more in terms of context, experience, or any other areas where I might have missed to grab your knowledge here?
Corey, your questions were like, they made me think, and I believe I talked a lot. But I would certainly like to add that, we have a very talented team members, and they are innovators. They are actually bringing in that client experience and user perspective. Rather, they are turning into, advocates, and approaching the entire documentation with this new mindset. So
Fantastic.
it feels great to be part of that team.
Exactly. Yeah, creative minds doing wonders. Super. So let's move on to the rapid fire round then, Anu. So who have you learned the most about documentation from in your career? I know you mentioned it's been almost a decade since you came into this field. So yeah, just who is the most influential person for you, you think, in documentation?
Corey, interestingly, the person who influenced me and who actually, shifted my mindset, was a lead, a dev lead, some 13 years back that I was working with, Paritosh Malve. So that time I was like not too old in this industry. So we were working, as one Scrum team, and the insights that I got, are the lessons that he shared. Those are still with me, and the one thing that I do want to share, why I call him the most influential on everything that I do. And it is like what I do now is it's more about I've built it. And I know this is rapid fire, but his one lesson that when you are writing, write uninterrupted, complete your first draft, take a break, and then come back with a new perspective, fresh set of eyes, your own eyes, but fresh set of eyes, and review that instruction.
Yeah, super, super. Can you share a documentation related resource you have consumed recently?
STE, Simplified Technical English. That is an interesting thing, an interesting website. I was learning a lot about aerospace and military and terms that they use, like limited lexicon. So that is the most recent, I believe, that captured my attention, and I'm browsing, like savoring it.
Super. So, what is that one piece of documentation related advice you would give to your 20-year-old self?
Do your research, and extensive research. Be a pain in the neck of your team, especially your SME, and learn everything from UI to the hardware and software requirement of a product that you're going to write about.
Fantastic. So I know we had a bit of silence when I finished this question. So I thought you're going to say, listen more, talk less. Super. So I think it was an amazing journey you shared with us, Anu, today. And before we say bye to our audience, is there anything else you would like to share with us?
One thing that I would like to share is when writing, bring yourself, to the piece that you are creating, and make that an honest attempt, and bring in that user perspective. That would do wonders.
Fantastic. Super. So Anu, as always, it's been a pleasure connecting with you and sharing your amazing journey with us. And so I wish you good luck with all the work you're going to be putting in the next coming months and weeks. So have a great Christmas and a happy New Year to you, 2021.
Thank you so much, Hickory. Thank you for having me here. It is my pleasure and feeling really, great conversation with you. So thanks again, and wishing you a very happy New Year and happy Christmas. May 2021 be brighter, happier, healthier for you and your family.
Yes, sure. And make talking to friends more closely. That's
True.
what we missed the most, I guess, in 2020.
Thanks for listening to today's episode of the Knowledgebase Ninjas Podcast. Please head to iTunes, rate, and provide honest feedback on the podcast. See you next week.